Hello everyone, this is Blankera, and welcome to my universe. Today, I'm going to continue rigging Shalom from Path to Nowhere. So yesterday, I mentioned that there were some issues wrong with something over here, and I just, for the life of me, could not figure out what it was at the time. But I think I have now. I think just right here is sticking out a little bit too much. With this being a downward turn, it makes sense that we'd see a little bit less of that area. So I think that's all it was. Yep. Or at least it was one piece of it. And then while I was looking around, I just saw some other areas that I wanted to touch up. So I'm going to go do those before I forget about them. And then I'll go back to trying to figure out what's going on there. I like the shape of the piece over here, but I think it's sticking out a bit too much, so I'm just sending it back over here just a little there. And I guess I should fix right here too. That seems important. I noticed that because I was looking at how things were being shaped through over here. And I just thought it was sticking out a little bit too much with the movement from the left to the lower left. Still just being very messy. It's okay. I am very much embracing the messiness here. We'll see how it all works out for me in the end, but I'm trying something. And I want to see what happens. As I've said before, I'm not very experienced when it comes to rigging. So I'm just kind of trying things and seeing what happens. Autosave, they're doing its best, but pausing things for just a moment there. Model's getting big, so it takes a second for it to autosave. I remember that happening when I was rigging my personal model. How I had to change how frequently the autosaves happened just because I could not deal with it pausing on me every 5 minutes. Oh, that was an experience. Learned a few things from doing that, and I did not cut certain parts of this model quite as thoroughly based on what I learned there. It was just kind of unnecessary. That's not to say that I did not cut this model thoroughly, it's just what I did for my personal model was a little bit silly in some areas. And I learned better ways to get some of the effects that I wanted. So here, I noticed some weird movement going on in the hair behind the front bang there, when I was moving between the frames. So I want to go ahead and even that out just a little bit here, which means it's time to have a funny bald spot on her forehead. Just a little while. I plan to turn it back on pretty quickly. I just wanted to see what I was doing while I was adjusting that. Oh yeah, that's a little bit better. And for this, I don't think I actually particularly need to see what I'm doing. Just the relative direction I need to push things. So all that's just covered up anyway, so I'm just kind of guessing at what I think will help. Today is a day where I just look through all the things that are leaving me a little bit unsatisfied and go through and fix it up. Really, I'm trying to get just the basic gist of this diagonal looking good before I start cleaning things up this time. Doing each strand individually is actually pretty hard. I'm realizing this now. It's okay, I think it's a classic beginner art blender too, in terms of drawing, where you want to go into the details right away. But you gotta get the overall structure down first. Now I can recognize it for what it is, so hopefully I won't make silly mistakes like that again. Okay, I think that's looking better now, so now I'm gonna go back to the front area and try to figure out what is making me not satisfied with how things look here. Probably just do a bit of back and forth and experimenting around. Try some things, see what happens. My usual philosophy for doing such things. I'm just trying to keep in mind that at this angle, we do see more of the top of the side bang there. So I'm kind of keeping that in mind as I move things around. And here it might look like I'm doing details, but I am just trying to get this highlight into the right place. I don't care if it's smooth. To an extent, I think that's just going to happen since I'm moving dots around manually like that. But that is not what I'm paying attention to right now. I just want to make sure it's in a good spot. That is all. Right now I'm wondering if this area here is still a little bit too low. Did I push it a little bit too far down still? Let's take a look here. Let's just stare at this for a second, so we're gonna go back and forth quite a lot while I try to figure out what's going on. I think it might be, though, so let's just grab all the stuff here. And I'll push it up a little bit. See if that looks a little bit better. So I want the side bang and the connecting hair. Here we are. All the things in that area. And I just want to very, very gently and carefully pull all of this up very, very slightly. Let's try it from here. Yeah, I do think that looks a little bit better. Man, so I must have pushed that really, really low when I was doing the lower head turn for the first time. It does make sense. I was trying to push her head down after all. And here I don't want to pull it, like, far down. I just want the very, very bottom of it just a little bit lower. Just doing some very gentle nudges here and there. Okay, and now I have to get the shape of that right, because otherwise it's gonna bother me. But yeah, I do think that looks a bit better. So hopefully that solves some of the problem that I was having with how things looked there. I did feel like her hair was moving around on her head a little bit too much there, so... Okay, no, I think I might have brought it just a little bit too high, so let's take another look at that. I do think it's better, though. So I had the right idea, just... I want to bring the center part just very slightly downward. There we go. Yeah, that seems pretty good. Gonna stare at it again for just a second here. There's gonna be a lot of staring today. So much staring. So I do apologize if I get a little bit quiet while I focus. Sometimes when I'm doing those staring, I'm just running a few calculations in my head, and I need a second to just think about it all. Art is hard. Art is so hard. This morning I posted a few more Infinity Nikki screenshots in the community tab. So I ended up taking a ton of pictures because messing with the camera is way too much fun. They did a great job with their photo mode. Makes sense, since I feel like half the point of this game is just making pretty outfits and pretty scenery and having nice photo shoots. So I have been having a great time with that. Took way too many, so I just picked 5 of my favorites, because YouTube caps me at 5 per post. But I might post some more later in the week. Maybe every couple of days. Don't want to spam you guys too hard. Maybe I should start spamming the Infinity Nikki subreddit instead. I think they'd appreciate it more. But yeah, I posted 5 of my favorite shots. I believe each of them has a different outfit, which just goes to show the level of customization possible in this game. I have quite a few pieces, and this is all still just early game stuff that you get for free. I do not think I've... No, I did use some outfits from the gacha. That I got with the the whole bunch of free polls that we're getting for the launch celebration. But for the most part, they are just very, very easily acquired. Been having a good time with it. I like how many different kinds of just atmosphere I've been able to capture so far. It's like the area that I just went through had a lot of dark atmosphere, so a lot of my more recent ones ended up a little bit darker, but no, there's lots of different things going on. It's really cool. I enjoyed a lot. Oh, and speaking of games, I see that Duro is coming up in a rerun soon. So I think I will probably pull for her there. I can finally be redeemed for my unlucky pulls during the Yao banner. I was gonna wait for her to show up in the shop, but I have a bunch of hypercubes stored up right now, so I think I can go for it. Finally start completing my collection again. Oh, it was so sad when I didn't get her, because I did have every sitter at that point. And now I can once more. I'm actually getting pretty close to finishing my quest to get every sinner to potential 3. I think I have 5 more S-rank sinners left, and then a pretty big handful of A ones. I've already done all the B-rank ones because they were cheap. But I'm getting there, and the S-rank ones are the most expensive ones. So that means it'll only get easier as I finish them. It's very exciting. I like being able to level up everyone. And at some point I'll just bring everyone to max level. Everyone. Everyone will have max level. Currently, I've only been getting them up to level 80. That's probably more investment than necessary for what I'm doing here, but it makes me happy, so I've been doing that. Personally, I feel like I need no further justification than it makes me happy. I like giving them nice things. I actually can't remember what the next event is up in the CN order. I haven't been paying too much attention to CN news lately. I have been doing too many things to keep up with random information about video games. It's like I say kind of flippantly, but I actually, it's weird to say when it comes to, like, games and culture and whatnot, but I actually do not think that people should take pride in ignorance of something. Even if it's something silly like video game news. It's like knowing things is valuable. Being able to keep up with things is a very important skill. It's just not one I have. I'm pretty bad at it. I just kind of get focused and kind of move into my own little world. There are pros and cons. Well, mostly cons. But it does let me stay a little bit more focused. And to stop my brain from getting overwhelmed. But, you know, if I could do that and keep up with news, that would be even better. That is my opinion anyway. So I guess I'll just let myself be surprised for now. Maybe someday I'll get better at keeping up with these things, but that day is not today. Actually, you know what I really should be keeping up with is sitter birthdays. So this way I can draw some nice pictures of them on their birthday. I think that's pretty worthwhile. Then I can have some nice art of them on their birthday, and we can all celebrate together. That sounds pretty fun. Maybe I'll do that in the new year. I've got some things I have to get done in December. Got Christmas gifts to draw. But, you know, for next year, yeah, maybe I'll try to draw stuff on sinner birthdays. Get a calendar, start filling it in, and try to give something nice to all of our sinners. But first I gotta get through Christmas. Definitely gotta get through Christmas first. One thing at a time. I have been feeling perhaps a little bit overwhelmed the past couple of weeks. It's all self-inflicted, don't worry about it. It's just something I do. So I've been trying to step back a little bit and not worry about things so much. Easier said than done. My brain just, it likes to go deep into the worry. It likes to pretend like it can predict the future when it can't. Brain's not that smart. Not smart enough to actually predict the future. Alright, just gonna stare at this for a second. Give me a moment. Really want to focus in on certain things. Okay. Right here is maybe a weird thing to get fixated on, but it is wrong. And I do see it, so might as well push that into place there. It's just a small detail, but that's okay. The small details are important too. Okay, I'm actually starting to think that the things on this side are starting to look pretty good. Fortunately, there's not quite as much on that side. So I'm just taking another quick look around and making sure that there's nothing else I want to fix up. There's like this red spot here, and I'm never sure what layer it's on. Is it on that layer? Okay. Again, another small detail, but it's important to acknowledge all of the small details too. Just because they're small doesn't mean they're not important. Let me see, I still kind of feel like something is off, but I'm not quite sure what. So I'm gonna think about that for a second. Bear with me. Today is a focus day. And honestly, it's pretty hard to focus and talk at the same time. The hazard of doing art while streaming. Gotta divide my attention, and it makes life harder. It really does. It's okay, I think it's worth it. I like being able to share everything I'm doing with people. It's very fun. That's why I show up every day. I'm never quite sure what to do with this highlight, because when I move it up, it's too high, and when I move it down, it's too low, even if I only do it a little bit. So I'm not quite sure what it wants from me. It seems highly confused. Well, let's see what I can do for it here. Figure out some secret to help it out. Alas, poor little confused highlight. Okay, there it seems like it's doing better now. Now it's this highlight down here. It always seems like it's being squished and squashed in various ways. Probably don't want to leave it like that. That seems like a bad idea. Seems incredibly rude. Okay, that looks a little bit better. Certain things do look a little bit like they're being squished when I come down here, but that might just be because this is not quite right. Right now, I'm trying to trust the diagonal a little bit more. So I feel like comparing it to the area right around here, where I have not changed anything at all, is probably the most valuable. I will adjust the other directions accordingly. Now I can kind of see why I've seen some riggers do an experiment where they tried to do the corners first. I'm not sure if I'm feeling ambitious enough to try something like that on future models. Seems like it'd be pretty hard. But it does seem like just doing the cardinal directions roughly, then going hard on the corners, and then aligning everything seems like a good idea. I might try that in the next one. It's because I do feel like you get a lot of information from the corners. And actually, I want to try one thing with her jaw here. I'm gonna do things a little bit roughly at first. Let's find the head here. H E, there it is. And if this looks better, I will go and clean it up just a little bit. I do think that looks a little bit better. Okay, yeah, let's clean that up a little bit. While I've been staring quite a lot, I was wondering about that. On whether I had her jaw going out enough. Alright, fortunately it's pretty straightforward to just kind of smooth out all of this. Let me make sure this looks good in interpolation. Yeah, I should probably hide the hair. Okay, we're going bald for just a sec here. Well, I clean up the side of her jaw. Just so I can make sure that I get this part that shows in some of the areas between the frames looking nice and smooth. Here I do need to be able to see what I'm doing. Very important to be able to see what you're doing. It's like earlier I did some adjustments that I didn't really need to see too well, but now here I need to be able to see. Okay, that should be good. So we'll put the hair back on. Now we'll go take another look. Okay. And before I go and start bringing the line of the shadows back in, I just want to perfect the shape. Get it just the way I want it. Still feel like there's a couple of spots just kind of sticking out. Yeah, I think that looks much better. Okay, let's turn off the hair again and make sure all the sides are cleaned. Still looking pretty good, in my opinion. Just a couple of spots to fix here and there. I don't think the area up by the ear is going to be super relevant, but I'll just grab it while I'm there. And there we go. Let's put our hair back on. Now we can put the headline back on. And I'll adjust the shadows a little bit too. Fortunately, the shadows on this side are pretty straightforward. Alrighty, and there we go. Slight change, but it's okay. I think it looks a bit better. That's kind of how it was before, and this is how it was and is now. And yeah, I think that's a bit better, so let's copy it over here. And I don't think I even need to adjust the shadows quite as strongly on this side. There's a few places that are a bit off, so gotta make sure to get that in. Alrighty. So we should have a slightly better jaw now. It's okay, like I've said in the past. The head is the most important part of a VTuber model, so put all the effort necessary into getting that to look good. Most of the work should absolutely go into making the head look as good as possible. I feel like everything else is just kind of secondary. Man, now I'm worried that if I go back and look at my other angles, I'm just not going to be satisfied with them anymore. Okay, no, this looks okay. Maybe there's some things I could fix, but I think it's okay. Okay, that's good. Oh, perfectionism is hard. I do think the downward turn is starting to shape up pretty nicely, though, now that I've taken the time to fix up some stuff. Okay, the last big area that I'm not too sure on is this highlight on the side bank here. But I think everything else is looking pretty good. I might check it a little bit more tomorrow, but I think I can at least start lighting things up with the downward turn again. And probably even the left turn. Yeah, there we go. That looks pretty nice. Okay. So let's start lining things up over here. I say that as I make another change to the lower left, but that's okay. That's a change I'm making to line things up, or I just happen to like the way that it looked on the left. I decided to do the left first, mostly arbitrarily, but also because it seemed a little bit more straightforward. I figured I'd give my brain a little rest before lining things up with the downward head turn. And I can go through and start just shaping up the rest of these strands. Get them all to look nice. Get everything to line up perfectly. It's funny, I went up there with the intention of adjusting the left turn first, but all the changes I'm making are on the lower left. Just goes to show there's always more details that you can put in. It's true, one issue I had for a very long time with just regular illustrations was being able to declare a piece finished. I could work on the same one for months at a time and be perfectly happy. Ah, good morning, Rostic. How are you doing today? Or not. Well, thanks for popping in anyway. Okay. So still making some slight adjustments over there. Yeah, just to get things to line up the left a little bit better. I think this should all look pretty okay once I actually clean it up. Ah, well, if you did, I do not recall seeing such a comment. So it might have been deleted somehow. I do not delete comments, but sometimes YouTube does for me, and I don't appreciate it. So I'm not quite sure what you mean by have a war, but, I did not see that comment. Alright, here, when I was thinking about making changes to the left head turn, but ended up making all the changes on the lower left, I am finally starting to make some changes on the left. It'd just be kind of funny how that works out sometimes. Yeah, I'm not too interested in fighting any wars. I'm just here because I like making stuff and I like sharing stuff with people. And I don't really feel the need to censor people's comments. Don't worry, you can talk freely here. To an extent. Please don't get me in trouble with YouTube. Oh, I see. Apologies, I don't know all the technical terms for the, languages adjacent to Russian. But no, I did not remove any comments. I guess YouTube just does not... must remove comments if it matches a certain criteria. Personally, I think it's healthy to be able to talk about topics like that, but... I don't know, man. I do not appreciate YouTube censorship. Yeah. Sorry you have to go through that, man. Good luck. I'll try to be a little bit more cognizant of my terming in the future. Sorry about that. You know, when I set out to make corrections on the left side here, I was not expecting this area to be such a hotspot for corrections and need so many precise little ones here and there. But there we go, I think that's looking better now. Okay, so here I'm looking at both the diagonal and how things are looking here, because I see this highlight right here. And I'm debating on which layer I need to move it on, and I do think it is on the left. The left versus the lower left. So I think I just need to slide this guy over here a little bit. Line him up with the lower left. And then hopefully all will be well. And I guess some things might get cleaned up a little bit in the process, just because if it squirms too much, I have trouble aligning things. Let's see here. Again, just checking to see which side is more correct. And I think this time the left looks a little bit better, so I will change things on the lower left. Just need to pull out the highlights over here a little bit, I think. I'm trying to tell my brain not to get too fixated on various things, but it's hard. It does it anyway. Yes, you are correct, but I did not cut it properly to, quite get that effect right. So I'm just having her head move a little bit instead. That's fine. The lines? Yeah, to an extent. Yes. Yeah, the term that I'd use to describe that would be either the part, where the hair kind of parts into two different directions, or the roots. I use either, just because part can be confusing because that also is used in other Live2D terminology. I'm not using Live2D, but nonetheless, for better or worse, Live2D is the kind of default program used for stuff like this. So its terminology is just going to carry over. I do think you're right that maybe right here is not moving quite far enough to the left. I'm missing one. Yeah, okay, there it is. I like to move all of these together. So let's just very, very, very gently move it over just a little bit. We'll see if that's a bit better. Because it's kind of a weird situation, because from here her head is strictly turning left, but from here her chin is coming back down. Which does that bring this... Okay, I have to think again. Does that bring it more to the right or more to the left? I think that actually brings it more to the left. Okay. Just trying to picture things in my head. Let's just do it from this. Because I want to move quite a few things here. Maybe not this one. Still looks a bit strange, but that's okay. I'll fix it. Okay, yeah, I think that works. We'll definitely have to be cleaning up many things, but that's okay. I can handle a bit more cleaning. Guess this means I'll have some things to adjust on the left turn as well. That should be okay. Okay, I think that's working. Here, maybe not quite so much, but it's okay. There's gonna be some things that need to be pushed around. Let's see here. Which of these needs to be moved a bit? I think it's here. Yeah, I think it's the left this time. We'll take these... No, not you. You. There we go. Take these 2 layers and push them a little further to the left. And then up here, I think I just, on the lower left, pulled this top part out just a little bit too much. So I'm gonna go push it back in a little. I'll worry about fixing that shape in a sec. I want to make sure that everything else is where I want it to be first. Okay, I think I do. Okay, and actually before I go in and change that, I want to check. There's a spot right here. And I go between these 2. And that squirms quite a lot. It's like I made it a lot rounder down here, but that might actually be better. So I want to check it. Okay, better in some ways, worse in others. I will fix the part that I think doesn't look quite as good down here before I try to align it with the left. I swear I know what I'm talking about. Just right through here. Alright, the messiness of it aside, I think I like that. I'll worry about cleaning up the mess and all the crunchy parts later. I just want to get everything into place first. Here I was zooming in and making adjustments because I wanted to fix this little highlight right here, the one that I'm poking at, and get him into a good spot. And that's pretty hard to do zoomed out, so... That wasn't cleaning, that was just... some kind of basic fixing. It's still not in a good spot. Needs to be round. Needs to be kind of facing upward. Like that. There we go. Again, do not mind the mess. It will be fixed later. Okay. So now we're at the point where I think I do like the lower left more. So I'll go ahead and make things up here a little bit rounder. I do enjoy being able to make things nice and round. Alright, and once I fix up this front bang here and try to find the optimal roundness for it, I think that's where I will end for today. It's about time for me to go get some food, because I'm getting a bit hungry. Okay, they're still not quite lining up there. Definitely have to decide which part I like better. Let's take a look at the angles in the original. Like, this is definitely a curve. It's not quite as smooth of a curve as it is down here. It's a little bit straighter. But it's still a very small curve. How do I have it here? Okay, no, I think that's pretty good. And how is it over here? Okay, I think the lower left has it right. So I will correct the left based on the lower left here. Just taking a look at to see what I will need to do in order to get those to line up properly. I think it's going to be something like this. And maybe just a little bit less of a curve up here. Okay, I'm not sure why it jumped on me there, but it sure did. Okay. I must have accidentally hit, like, a shortcut to jumped keyframes or something. I didn't actually know that there was one that did that. That's interesting. Perhaps I should take some time to actually learn the keyboard shortcut someday. Okay, messiness aside, I think they're lining up decently now. Probably need to fix some things over here, but I think right here is okay for now. And I think that will be something I tackle tomorrow. I will need to... Okay, now this I want to tackle right now. This needs to be round. It's like the hair in the normal view had this nice curve right through there, and I want to try to bring some of that back. Got a little bit lost while I was cleaning up some other stuff. And now it's very messy, but I think it is curved right. That's why I say, do not mind the mess. I will fix it. But there we go. I think we have an okay curve there. Alright. So tomorrow I will continue trying to line things up. But for today, I'm gonna go get some food. So, thank you all for coming. If you'd like me to take a look at your own creative projects, whether that be art, writing, coding, game design, or any creative pursuit you can think of, feel free to message or add me on the social media platform of your choice, and I'll take a look. Maybe leave some comments. I'll see you all tomorrow. Goodbye. And thank you, Rio. You caught me just as I was leaving, but thank you for stopping by, and I'm glad you like it.